Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Learn From Us podcast, a podcast dedicated to business growth, entrepreneurship, investments, realty, and general bullshit. My name is Seth Gochanan. We're broadcasting somewhat live from Richfield, Ohio.
Not at all live.
As always, my esteemed associate, Paul Gabriel.
I will steal this from Barstool Sports. This is an emergency press conference. You ever see how he does that? He does like he's in his bed, and David Portnoy does in his bed. Prez, and he does a screen record. We're here today because...
I was in the tub.
Were you?
Texting Paul. As you know, I bathe.
Yeah, I do know that.
I get a lot of my Duolingo, I do a lot of my Duolingo in the tub. Paul says, emergency podcast, get your ass in here. I hop in the Tesla and drive in. Paul, you've been getting a lot of texts today.
I have been getting a ton of texts. You know, somebody wrote me a text said, hey, turns out you were right. I'm like, no. I'm like,
Not yet.
I'm like 50% more drop and I'll be right. That's when I'll take credit. When it's below 16, 1700, 1800, I'll take credit. Because literally people don't think it's possible to go from 3386. February 19th, people. Was that February 19th? I think it was. It was 3386, the S&P. It is now at 2781.
What's the drop?
Drop. 2781 divided by 3386. It's an 18% drop in 3 weeks. So when people say like, oh, this is what happens.
Tell me.
By the way, it could go right back up again.
Sure.
But when people say, I don't see anything on the horizon, that's exactly the point. That's what causes these massive drops, the things you don't see on the horizon. Coronavirus is being blamed. I will love it for it to be the trigger, fine with me. But if things keep getting worse and worse, it's not because of coronavirus. Look at Tesla. What's Tesla at right now?
What's the price of Tesla stock?
630.
630.
It peaked at 980, did it not?
Yeah.
630 divided by 980.
My son,
35%.
My son Gio sold at 825.
Wow, good for him. It probably ended up being wrong. So Tesla, a matter of how long ago? Well, intraday it got to 9. It's showing 917 here on February 19th, and now it's at 630. These things are not. Oh, you're telling me now all of a sudden Tesla's worth 30% less? Why? Because of a coronavirus? Now they're saying it's because of oil stocks, because of oil being lower. Oh, now Tesla's not worth that much because it's not. It doesn't use. It's like this is ridiculous. This is literally the logic being used.
So another stock that we always harp on is Amazon. Amazon's still down a lot.
It's down a lot today.
I thought it was still high.
It is still high. 1827.
So, you know when I saw it at 19 something this morning before I drove in.
So Amazon's peak is 2150. So sorry, 2185 is 52-week high. 2186. It's down at 1827. 1827 divided by 2186. It's down 17% since the high. You know, whatever. It's just like, hey, these things have to happen. When stocks are overvalued, these things have to happen. It's going to be something. It's going to be the coronavirus is the trigger. Fine with that. More power to them.
So I've been learning it's, again, as a dummy, it's not really the virus itself infecting people are worried about. It's like the Chinese and overseas production that's halting. They're not letting people
And the fear.
out. Well, fear-mongering too. Yeah, we live in a strange time because...
we always live in a strange time, but go ahead.
Well, I mean... For every freak out article I see, there's the let's not freak out article.
Oh, do you? I don't see as many as the let's not freak out. No, I don't see as many of those.
I've just been seeing like many of the let's not freak out. Like someone, what I would think is a very intelligent person posted, well, if, what is it? How many billion people are there in the world?
7.8, 7.7.
Yeah, so at 2% rate, we're going to have 130 million people die. And then someone just writes like, that's if everyone gets it.
Yes.
Now, is that not possible?
Of course it's possible. I mean, theoretically, not theoretically, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked out for everybody. Not everybody got it, though. Spanish flu. Wow. I mean, but medicine was a lot different back then than it is today.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you had diarrhea, you died back then.
Then you got the false...
Not really, but...
I got the false information. I was... joking with my wife. Obviously, as a scientist, I believe in certain scientific things, but it seems like the anti-vaxxers have kind of like backed off into the...
It's a Homer Simpson like backing into the
hedges.
Into the hedges. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I haven't heard much about that anymore. Or But it's funny is we have some friends.
Can we thank Jesus real quick for giving us coronavirus?
I think you should.
As part of his plan.
Right. And we have some friends who were, I guess, somewhat adamant they don't want to vaccinate their kids.
Uh-huh.
And they said, well, if you do vaccinate your kids, what do you have to worry? Well, you don't have to worry about my kid. I mean, if my kid gets it, your kids are vaccinated, so you should be fine. And it was like that. I was like kind of stumped by that one. I was like, well, the more kids that have it, obviously, the more susceptible.
That is true, though, right?
Well, I mean,
Mr. Scientist, that is.
I think theoretically,
I don't think the vaccinations are necessarily just. It's also. We got rid of polio in the U.S. essentially, right?
I would think if you got bombarded with more and more of this, even if vaccinated, it might not. It could overtake you. But
what are the current numbers on coronavirus? How many people in the U.S. have it? Do you know, Tim? How many people in the U.S. have corona? Oh no, I think it's more than that now. 9 hours ago, it crossed 500. Death toll rises to 22.
Yeah. Well, you had that boat out in San Francisco filled with them.
What?
There was a like Royal Caribbean cruise ship.
Oh, I think you meant
they're boating in people.
I literally thought you meant like somebody's out in San Francisco Bay going like, we got a boat of people.
Well, they did.
Bring your coronavirus people in.
Trump was saying, I don't want them to get off that boat. He doesn't want his numbers to double instantly.
Oh, got it.
That's what he said. And then they were trying. I heard people trying to describe, well, if you keep them on the boat, they're going to have to get off at some point, and they're all infecting each other on the boat. So, then you're just going to have this stew of sick people.
Well, that's the way it is.
But they're shutting down.
Oh, my God, it's below 6% now. Fudge.
It's going up.
It's going back up. Guys, you know how excited I was last night? I was really excited last night when I got notification that markets were down 4%, and then they halted pre-market trading at 5% down in the S&P.
Now, why is that? I asked Tim how that occurs and how they can just
So they
do
put
that.
this into place back in 1987, 1989, something like that, when the markets fell like 22% in one day. They said, okay, we're going to automatically stop trading. And then they made new rules in 2013 that were like at 7%, they stop it for 15 minutes. At 13%, they stop it for 15 more minutes. At 20% in one day, it stopped for the day. I don't believe that actually helps. Because I think to myself, all you're doing is getting people fearful, going, I can't do anything right now. Although now, when they stopped at 7%, it's now rebounded 1% on the S&P. But I don't see how these things are. When people do these, when people worry about these things, I think to myself, it's a lack of understanding of investing. People texting me today, what would you do? Well, what are you doing right now? Well, I'm buying it. Okay, then keep buying. I don't understand what the market falling should matter to you.
Explain that further.
If you're still saving for retirement, you're still 20 years out from retirement, your job is to save every single month, buy low-cost funds that get you market exposure. It doesn't matter what happens here. Some guy's literally texting me going, well, should I buy tomorrow or sell tomorrow? Or should I sell today and buy it? I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what's your goal? He's like, well, I need, and if he watches the podcast, I apologize. He says, well, I need the money for short-term for buying businesses. I go, then this money shouldn't be in the market anyhow. If you need the money short-term, you shouldn't have your money in the market. Tim and I were talking about family members of his who are close to retirement. If you're that close to retirement, you shouldn't have that much money in the market. You should pare it back. Now, it's hard to do that when all your friends are making 15, 20, 30%. But the smart move is people are now reacting because now they saw, oh, shoot, I made all this money. Now I'm losing it, quote unquote, losing it. I have to react. Okay. Then don't get upset when things fall. That's what causes collapses. That's what causes bubbles, is you sit there and do something that works and you keep doing it without any explanation. Then something like coronavirus hits and it's your reason to go, oh, F coronavirus. Guys, we haven't even scratched the surface of what I think could happen in terms of the market falling. I will take credit when the S&P is below 17, 1800, like I said. Because I've been saying it was overpriced at 1500 and I sold completely out at 1850. And I started shorting then. Mm-hmm. That's when I was taking credit. I look at it going, guys, this is not a fluke. This happens. Where we were in valuations, which is a good, reliable, long-term indicator of stock value of stock prices, we're still double the market where it should be.
It seems that the fear is drastically affecting like large events.
The Arnold was canceled.
South by Southwest.
What's South by Southwest, by the way? Is that the music festival
in Austin? But I mean, that's one of the biggest things that happens in there. They're talking about NBA games getting shut out.
But LeBron's not going to play if he sees no fans.
I'm surprised by that comment.
Because he's a
but who
douchebag
cares?
and he wants to say that.
Well, he might be
I love LeBron, by the way.
He'll be on the podcast at some point, Paul, so we were to take that back. But
we're just going to put over my mouth like he's a god.
He's a god.
I'll say douchebag, you say god. Ready?
Wait, what?
You say god right when I say, ready? He is a
god.
There we go, we did it.
I remember when I was a child, I loved that movie Major League. Everyone does, right?
I never saw it.
Oh, well, it's about Cleveland. We have to watch it together. But
Indians.
At some point, the third baseman comes up to Ricky Vaughn, and like it's a tense scene, and he says, "Strike this motherfucker out."
Yeah.
And in the Comedy Central version, he says those words. It just says, "Strike this guy out." And I even knew when I was like 9. I was like, "What is that?" Okay, I digress. What should people?
What should people do?
No, hold on a second. Well,
Okay.
So when people were set to retire in 2008,
Uh-huh.
and this happened to people, they lost a ton of money.
Yeah, they
had
weren't
to
able
keep working.
Yeah.
My mother retired January 21st. She's still yet to get like her final sort of
Of this year.
Yeah. And I told her, we got to be careful with this money. And she hasn't quite actually received like, I don't know, $300,000 or $400,000 of like, here's your final go live life money. And I'm concerned like she has a financial advisor who's been advising her for years.
That was me.
Oh, and I'm concerned about where it's going to go. So how would you rate this in terms of like what's happening? Like, how are you describing it? Like you said a couple podcasts ago, this might be, the virus might be like the first domino.
Yeah.
But I guess I always ask you, what do you think? So what do you think?
I think stocks are going to go a lot lower than this at some point. I think as of this very second, there could be a very short-term rebound. I'm not here to guess. All I'm saying is stocks don't go straight down. Stocks go like this. If you look at every stock market top in history, it's this gradual back and forth before you hit a low. I just look at valuations based on long-term reliable metrics, and stocks are still massively overpriced, even at a drop of 18% in the last 3 weeks.
So the cash pile up that you have,
Yeah.
you have any idea when you'd think you'd start?
When I start seeing good values in anything. It could happen at 20%, 25% down. I could find a stock going, oh, this looks like a good value. My job is to find good value no matter where I can. Is it harder during these times? Absolutely. Has it been harder lately? Absolutely. But we've also started to see more real estate deals lately.
Tell me about the new 300 unit.
Oh, is that what we're doing now?
Can you spoil it yet?
Who told you about this?
I know people. Okay. I spent 5 hours without a cell phone sitting next to Andrew.
Oh, that's right. The Schmitz with completely naked.
Schmitz. Not completely, but I mean, when you're wearing a white towel that doesn't fit around your fat ass, and then you sit on a stadium-style seating, I can only imagine the front view is a little droopy, to say the least.
And you guys are pillars of modern
athleticism
bodies that are just incredible. So,
I see the statue of David, and I think, forget
is
it.
that Seth? When I feel the body with my eyes closed. But
it seems like I was shocked to hear that story about maybe you guys are spending some money now.
I know. Our investment guy Gary emailed us the other day and said, "Hey, are you guys seeing better?" And we're like, and I said, "Yeah, we're seeing." He's like, "Good. It's glad to hear that." It's still not there fully, but we're starting to see more deals that are starting to hit our thresholds. Are they still far away? Yeah, but they're a lot closer than they used to be. And that's the point. We're always getting closer and closer and closer, or further and further and further. My job is just to wait till it gets. We're buying a deal right now. I don't care if the real estate market crashes 25%. I found a deal that generates me the income that I need to justify the investment. I don't care where the value goes. The value will work itself out in the long run. Same thing is here. You shouldn't care. The difference is with real estate, as Warren Buffett puts this great. In real estate, there's no big sign above your piece of real estate that says this is what your real estate's worth and it's constantly changing. If it did, we would worry a lot more. With stocks, we see that.
Yeah.
Look, you're a little bit poor. You're a little bit poor. You're a little bit poorer. Now, I mean, that's the thing. We know every second of every day how much we're worth. And that's why the immediate reaction is tough. With real estate, what's your house worth right now? Exactly. That's the point.
I see. Right.
You can't. What's the S&P worth right now? 2805.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are days where your house theoretically is worth 5% lower today than it was the day before.
So
I don't know.
I called you recently with like a weird. I've been trying to explain this to Beth. Tell me where I'm wrong.
Okay.
The housing market is overly propped up.
Okay.
Overvalued, would you say?
I think it's very tough time to find a good deal on a house. Yes.
Okay. However, whenever you have something to play with, you just do that. For our audio listeners, Paul is a fidgeter when he has things in his hand. You need like a little, what's a fidget spinner?
Yeah, I need a fidget spinner.
So the housing market is propped up. For example, my home has gone up, quote unquote, gone up in the
$100,000
in 8 months. However, the interest rates on mortgages has dropped. Does
that's why
dichotomy make sense?
Of course, that's because lower interest costs means you can afford to pay more for a house, right?
Yeah.
So that's why interest rates and house prices go.
So I thought you were saying, I'm sorry. So again, coming from a dummy, like I thought you were saying that a healthy market should have higher interest rates.
A healthy economy.
Healthy economy.
So if you think about it, why do we lower interest rates?
To increase spending and buying and production.
And why do we do that?
When the economy needs it to ramp up?
Yes. So if the economy is so good, why are we lowering interest rates to make the economy better?
Right.
That's not the government's job. We are starting to feel like it's the government's job. You know, my good friend Michael Moskal thinks this is the end of the Fed as we know it. Not in terms of the Fed's going away. He thinks the job of the Fed is changing so drastically that it's going to be a lot different now. Because instead of, their job used to be inflation. That was their number one job, inflation and employment, making sure we stay. What is it now? Now we're talking about, stocks are down. We got to go put money in the market to prop stocks up. When did that happen?
Yeah.
Powell used to say, I'm not going to buckle to political pressure. All of a sudden, he and Trump have a closed door meeting, and Powell comes out going, yeah, I think it's time for a rate cut. It's like, wait a second. What happened here? You know what I mean? I look at those things going, okay.
Is it extreme to think that I should refinance my house, take out the equity that I have, and get ready for a collapse?
It's not extreme to think that. The question is, do you need to do that?
I don't know. It seems like the propping up of my house value has given me an opportunity to get. How
would your business do if a recession hit?
Wedding and DGF?
Yeah. I imagine you take a hit.
Well, obviously we don't know, but I would assume sure.
So why take on more debt then and a higher payment? You've got a good situation.
Yeah.
I look at your situation and say, if you want to refinance your current mortgage amount to get a lower payment, more power to you. Yeah. The idea of pulling more money out, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like, to me, that doesn't feel like the best course of action because you have enough stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
And if the economy does turn and all of a sudden you can't charge $6,000 to $10,000 for a wedding, you got to charge $4,000 to $5,000, you do a lot more weddings, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Now, if you were like us and you had 10 businesses that were all generating pretty good cash flow, that's different. And I'm not saying it to say like, well, but I don't mind taking on more debt because I have X, Y, and Z going. And I'm like, okay, well, plus it's as a percentage of my income. But I think that you said the other day you can easily afford $400 more per month. And I was like, listen, that's great. And if you really want to do that, let's talk. But I don't know. I hope it ends up being stupid when you're like, Paul, S&P is at 1,500. I could have bought at these levels. Yeah, I know. I don't tell you besides, do you really need to do it? I don't think you really need to do it. So why do it? Are there stocks down 49% right now? Holy shit. FANG? What is that? Not to be confused with the FANG stocks. I don't know what that is. Huh. But now the S&P is only down 5.42%.
You're sad. I
am sad. But a day like today is, it's a fun day for my brother and I. And our value investor friends. Just it's funny because when everybody texts me saying, "Are you going to buy in now?" I go, "Oh, that's why you don't listen." Like people aren't like I hear people say to me, "Well, Paul, you'll be right eventually." I'm like, "No, I won't." I'm not saying market stocks will fall 20%. I'm saying stocks will go to a certain level, and that level would be 50% lower than today. I'm saying they'll be in the 1,500 range S&P. That's a big drop. No one's saying that. That's why when it happens, I will take full credit for that. And I'll take full credit for all along the way saying it was overpriced. Mm-hmm. But if somebody says, that's why everybody goes, it's due for a 10% drop. Well, everything's due for a 10% drop. We have those all the time. I'm sitting there saying, no, we're going to fall a lot. And 1,500, when we were at 33.86, is like a 60-some% drop. That's a huge, what's the percentage? What's a percentage? What's that percentage? I know you don't like dead air, so I'm going to keep talking.
No,
and
I was
rambling.
just going to say, when you fly through those numbers,
It's 60%.
when you fly through those numbers, I envision the listeners who might not be as.
So right now, the S&P 500 is at 2811. 3 weeks ago, it was at 3386. I think it will be down as low as 1500, maybe lower. I don't know. But I think all day long, lower than 1500. That's from 3386 to 1500 is a 60% drop essentially.
How can that occur is my first question.
Correct. And it's happened a lot in history and people don't realize that. When I say a lot, our stock market history is 140 years old. But when you see valuations where we are today, every time we've had valuations like this, we've done that. Could it be different this time? Sure. But if your best argument is it's different this time, many people have gone broke saying it's different this time.
How do you, so the overpriced stocks like Tesla, how did you get to your numbers? I know we've done it like quickly in the past, but like for something like Amazon, like how do you analyze the ins and outs, the health of the business, and how does it translate to stock price?
So I'll be honest with you about Amazon. I look at two metrics and go, pass. I don't even try to determine what it's worth because it's so out of the realm of possibility. Why do I even go further?
Keep going.
It's like if you talk to somebody, they called you on the phone and said, Seth, I want to hire you for your wedding. Great. What's your budget? $1,000. Let me see if I can get them up to $7,000. Would you even waste your time?
It's that drastic for you?
Yeah. It's so obvious to me that it's so overpriced.
Why? How? What do you mean? Based
on things like price to sales, a factor of, so a thing like Amazon, they're spending a lot of money to grow. Mm-hmm. If you add that money back in and multiply it by 15 or 20, which is what companies should sell for, it's like 60% lower than it is today. So why would I even
price?
Yeah, so why would I even look at it? I'm not even go further. Oh, we're done here. Move on. Why would I even go further? Are there a lot of assets in the books? Not enough to justify it. Why go further? Your job in investing is to say no as fast as possible. Find the reason you're not going to buy it, move on to the next. Find a better investment. Just move on.
Patiently.
Yeah, just be patient. The whole 6% versus 0% is what gets you in trouble when you do this. 6% is better than zero. What about is 0% better than losing 18%? The answer is yes. And that's what people forget. Because people have lost 18%.
So you said that over and over and over. Yeah. That's a Grant Cardone quote, right?
6% better than zero.
And I would have to admit that I'm not always following, but you're saying that you'd rather elaborate. You'd rather be at 0% and
not lose capital and wait for the right time,
as opposed to get a 6% return on
but there's a lot
deal.
of risk. Yeah, there's a lot of risk in the deal, and it could end up losing a lot of value. Where you end up, the 6% isn't really 6%.
I think I asked you how I bought Goodyear stock a couple years ago. It's down 74%. I can only imagine what.
Let's see what it's at. What'd you buy it at?
I mean, nothing special. Let me look.
Like what stock price? I mean.
Oh yeah, let me look. But still, I'm like, how can a stock go down that far and the company still be alive?
Yeah, they're down 8% today. They're down at $8 a share.
So let's see. Oh, I only have a couple mini stocks. I bought.
Oh wow!
I bought at $35.
Yeah.
What's it at?
8. That's 80% drop.
77% drop.
Yeah.
So how
what?
How is that possible?
Well, look at, and
that
by
a
the way,
company's stock can drop 80%.
I mean, it happens all the time. Amazon, I think, will drop 80%. Tesla will drop way more than 80%. I think Tesla will drop 80% easily.
How many of our listeners have no idea what stocks are probably even in? Are they in some sort of safe fund?
If you're buying a lot of index funds or low-cost funds that have a lot of stocks in them, like the S&P, you will do fine over the long run. That is your job.
If you think of 100 friends.
Yes. I don't have 100 friends. Do you have 100 friends?
How many of them even know what we're talking about? Like,
and that's my point. Then why are they even looking at stocks?
Maybe they're. I mean, my point is maybe they're not. I don't.
Maybe they're not. But that's all the more reason. Don't get scared when you see this. Look at this and say, I'm 38. I have 30 years till retirement. This is going to happen a couple more times in my life. In the next 30 years, it'll happen several times. My job is every single month to buy the same amounts every single month. And you'll dollar cost average. You'll keep buying as it goes lower, and you keep buying as it goes higher. Eventually, you still are always buying and putting money to work. That is your job. My job as an investor, a quote-unquote astute investor who's still learning how to invest, and I know 100 times more than, you know what I mean, whatever it is, My job is to wait for the right opportunity because I have excess cash flow. My job is to put money towards investments that get me above average rate of return, or else I should just do what I advise other people to do, which is put money in stocks and forget about it. Don't look at your stock accounts. Just put money in every single month and save for retirement. That is your job. And if you're 60 and retiring in 5 years, why do you have that much money in stocks? It should be a lot lower.
Right.
How much lower? I don't know. Talk to your idiot financial advisor, who was probably a cashier at Pickway. Is Pickway a store? Pick and Save?
Wawa.
I know the other one with Piggly Wiggly.
Oh yeah,
that was one, wasn't it? Kroger. Love Kroger.
Yeah, I'm kind of concerned with my mother retiring now because I just remember friends who had parents who were retiring in 2008 and it got really bad for them.
But she's getting a check though, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be in stocks.
No.
Yeah, so she might be fine.
So how much of this weighs on you? It's like rooting for the villain. How much of this weighs on you that people are going to be infected?
Doesn't.
Not even I know a smidge, like in The Big Short.
The good people,
people are going to lose their...
I know.
Maybe people who weren't even...
Here's the issue I have.
Who couldn't have the mindset to even... I know it's hard
then
to
why were they
care.
even entering it? So why were people back in the day buying rentals when you were a landscaper making $8 an hour? You shouldn't have been buying rentals. My whole point is it sucks to lose money. And I feel bad for people. You know who I feel bad for?
Go ahead.
Their family members who have to pay the price. Their kids, their wife. I don't feel bad for them. I look at it saying, you made an investment. It didn't work out. Welcome to everybody else. I've made investments that didn't work out. That's life. I feel bad for the kids who have to pay for it, the wife or the spouse who has to pay for it. I don't feel bad for the person because you have the internet. You can go do research. You can go learn. I'm out there espousing this stuff. I don't keep it a secret. But if you look at me and say I'm stupid because stocks go up and I still say they're overpriced because you don't understand that concept, all the more reason you shouldn't be investing. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to lose money, it might be the best thing that ever happens to you. Because you'll learn to keep yourself focused in the area that you know well. And other than that, dollar cost average. You can't be upset when you lose money when you weren't upset when you're gaining money.
Right.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. So you got to pick one. Do I feel bad for kids? Yes. Do I feel bad but when you make a decision as a human being, that's why I'm libertarian. You can make your own decisions, but don't get mad at me because I cheer the decisions that affect you. That is not my fault. Last time I checked, every person in the world brags about how they saved $500 by buying a car. I bought that car, got a great deal. But yet we don't do that with investments. We brag about how much we pay for investments. It's this weird thing.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be taking, if you don't understand investment, why the F are you doing it? Because you didn't know any better? Well, I'm sorry. In that case, great. What do you want me to do?
Well, how many people are letting their financial advisor do stuff they probably don't even know what the hell?
And again, I would tell you, if you don't understand what your financial advisor is doing, ask the question. If they can't explain it to you like a 2-year-old, they don't understand it. And trust me when I say this, I don't know many I can't think of a financial advisor right now for the regular folk who I've sat there and said they know what they're doing. Not one time. They're just as dumb. So why are you listening to them? Because they pawn off mutual funds on you? Great, they make a commission every single time. They've made their money. If they can't explain it to you I can explain every business we do to a 2-year-old. Why? Because I understand them. I can explain to you every investment I make. I should say this. There's one investment thing that I do that I couldn't explain to an average person, and guess what I say to them? That's why you should not be doing it. I do it for me because I understand it, and it's a little complicated. Mm-hmm. That's my whole point. I'm practicing what I preach. If you don't understand it, you don't do it. I do the same thing. Whenever somebody pitches me something, I say, I don't understand this. So I don't understand for 2 reasons. Either you don't understand it or not explaining it well, which I would never invest in that, or I really don't understand it and I'm not smart enough, which I'm not going to invest in that either way. If I don't understand it, I don't do it. If I can say that, by all means, you should be able to say that.
I think it was somebody like the Robert Kiyosaki, the rich dad. He said something about, maybe I'm wrong, but the idea of having a financial advisor, and someone said this sentence, like, I'm watching for you.
Thank you.
Someone said this sentence like, why would I put my financial future in the hands of some guy I hardly know who's making money off of me making money?
That doesn't bother me as much as
Am I saying it wrong?
No, usually these financial advisors will get a commission for that one trade, not an annual fee.
What I've seen moreover, it's 1% annual fee.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But you can do it without paying that 1% annual fee. If you just do a little bit of research and spend 2 or 3 months learning, you can learn how to invest very well and just dollar cost average.
1% sounds, and tell me where I'm wrong in this. 1% obviously sounds very low, but then...
Oh, it's huge. It's a huge number.
Yeah, when you have, toward the end of your life, when you have $3 or $8 million...
But not even that. Along the way, as you're sacrificing that 1%, it's a huge number. You're talking about, a quarter of your money at the end of the life or something like that. It's insane.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think financial advisors are worth it. You can go educate yourself. Everybody is smart enough to understand investing. And people think I'm crazy when I say that. And they're like, oh, you're a numbers guy. No. I've explained, Lisa's not a numbers person. I've been able to explain to her these complicated matters. Oh no, it's down only 4.9%.
Oh no, Paul, we're back to this, only in the other direction.
Oh, the markets end up today. I can't explain to you how many people have gotten mad at me when I basically tell them, you don't understand what you're talking about. Like, you can't explain it to me. How many people said to me, it's just really complicated. I can't even explain it. It's like CDOs back in 2008. Nobody could understand how to explain that. I don't know. I once had a guy who makes $4 million a year. He's my estate lawyer. Pitch me nursing homes. He's pitching to me. I go, how the hell does this make money? And he literally said to me, I don't know. They just do. And I was like, right back. Because I saw it and said, this thing doesn't make money. And he's considered brilliant. He makes $4 million a year. He owns 3 private jets. He's considered brilliant in this world. He's what the government would consider a very astute investor. And he couldn't explain to me how something made money. I don't know. It just does. He literally did it like this with his handshake. I don't know. It just does. I ran away from that in half a second. I was like, F this. This guy's an idiot.
Looking back, the fact that I invested a good amount of money in Bitcoin, and there are still people out there of whom I know that they'll literally say, like, well, Bitcoin's either going to be $1 million or zero. And I'm like, is that really is that a safe investment?
Exactly, Seth. Yeah, I'm rubbing off on you.
They're like happy to say the sentence, well, it's either going to be $1 million or zero. And I'm like, well, zero's pretty bad if I have $20,000 or $30,000 invested in it.
I mean, sure, if it could be $1 million, but what are the chances of that happening? By the way, Bitcoin's at 7,600 right now.
7,600?
Yeah.
It was at 9,000 yesterday.
Yeah, maybe so. By the way, Bitcoin, the big argument about Bitcoin was it's a safe haven when other assets have a hard time. Yep. What's going on? So stocks are down 16%. And where's Bitcoin at? What was Bitcoin's price on February 19th? Dun, 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 dun.
Wow.
Bitcoin price on February 19th, 11,139. So let's recap. Oh, that's 2018. I'm sorry. That's 2018. Yeah. Oh my God. That's so exciting. Sorry.
No, it wasn't that high. I think it might be right around where it was right now, actually.
Let's see here. Where's February? Oh my God. February 20th, 86.39. So it's down 10%. So it's down about 13%. So everybody said that Bitcoin would be the savior when stocks fell, and it's down almost as much as stocks. Things that make you go, that's one of them.
Text Paul if you need money. I'm kidding. That's just, by the way, I know you're rooting on when the market
Guys, I think it's going to get a
falls.
lot worse. At some point, it could rebound completely and go to new higher highs. But it will
advice to normal people like myself.
just keep with your plan. Buy low-cost index funds that buy the market broad-based. Don't do anything if you have a long-term horizon of 10, 15, even 10, 15, 20 years. Just keep buying every single month. Don't worry about the fluctuations. You'll ride the highs and lows. Your job is to save for retirement. If you're under the age of 50 and you're retiring in 15 or 20 years, you'll do well dollar cost averaging. You won't do great.
Dollar cost averaging?
Which means you buy every month the same amount, whether it goes up or down. So as you're going down, the whole point is you're buying at lower prices along the way. If it's going up, you're buying at higher prices. Eventually, it works itself out to be even. It's always been proven for savers that it works out well. Investors, you can't consider yourself an investor if you think this is a buying opportunity. If you're a day trader, it could be a buying opportunity. Maybe tomorrow we're up a lot. I don't know. I mean, last week look at our fluctuations in the last week, Uncle Seth. How bad has it been? I mean, look at the S&P here. Let's go to 5 days. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. 5 days ago, we got as high as 31.27, and now we're at 28.24. You know, a month ago. Look at this chart, guys. A month ago. 33.93 was our intraday high. 33.93. And we're now at 28.27. This is not even a month ago. It was literally February 19th. So if you're a saver, you're a saver. Seth's giving me the watch warning.
We'll be
I think he's just showing
podcasting.
off his big watch.
We'll be podcasting later this week. We'll keep you updated as always. We have been saying for a year and a half now when this finally happens. It's
I've been saying it for 4 years.
Well, it's going to be a pretty interesting podcast when we start doing deals. And I, too, have myself and Mo have some money ready to jump on some of these
Mo's rich.
potential deals in the future. So, all right.
Thank you, Seth.
Subscribe below. Follow Paul and myself on Facebook, Paul_Gabriel on Instagram. And boy, we're going to be ramping up, folks. We have video walkthroughs of some properties that we've taken from studs to double the rent. And we have a new jam board that we're going to start going over deals in the future. So lots more things coming from Learn From Us, Paul and I, Andrew and Uncle Don, our producer. So stay tuned, subscribe, and I
love it.
Save your money.
All right, bro.
Love you.
Keep it real.
Bye. Bye, guys.